Welcome, everybody, to the Bahamas Mind and Body Project. You have myself, Eliot Kelly. Welcome back to the show. You've been following our podcast. Believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, this is our 10th podcast. Woo! I'm really, really excited. This week has just been an amazing week. So many testimonials. But you don't want to hear about the testimonials right now. You want to hear why we're here and who do we have here tonight. Tonight, we have Minister Kenria Kelly. She has a business management degree from the Bahamas Baptist College. She has a professional business. She's a professional businesswoman and started Kenria's Nail Salon and Boutique in 2004. All right, so we're going to be looking at her weekly show, Prayer Connection, which is on social media, as well as in churches throughout the Bahamas. We also have the pleasure of Mr. Clayton Phillips from Professional Renaissance Protection, Security, and Bodyguard Services. You got the big guy in the house. I like that. I like that. Our topics this evening, we'll be looking at the importance of security as an umbrella topic, practical safety tips, again, very actionable tips that you can take away from the show. The feedback we've been getting from those persons who have typed in, we really, really like it, and we will be responding more to that. The idea of this show is that when you walk away from this show, you can jot down some things and employ those things in the next week or today. We'll also be looking at the power of prayer as well as customer service excellence. So without further ado, again, I'd like to thank you for coming on the show tonight. We will find out your handles and contact information in a moment. If persons are joining, welcome to the show visually or listening through the podcast. Our email is info@bahamasmindandbodyproject.com. That's info@bahamasmindandbodyproject.com. We are powered by Juice Plus, and we love it. We love it. We love it. So, Mr. Phillips, tell us about security. What's it like down in the Bahamas at the moment?
Well, things are getting a little more dangerous.
Okay.
In our little town. Years ago, you wouldn't even have thought that we would be at this point that we are now. But with the cost of living rising, a lot of our young people not having sufficient jobs, coming out of school and basically having not many options. All right, it's becoming a bit more difficult for businesses to keep their products in stores. You're gonna have some people who are going to be breaking in. You're gonna have people who, when it's time for them to go to the ATM, they got to be more concerned, about withdrawing cash. Cars are being stolen. Just the other day, a female police officer's car was stolen out of a yard. Yeah, she had to go to work and report that in uniform. I mean, that's a serious thing. That we're at this point, that we're at this level. The deputy prime minister was robbed. You have ministers being attacked in their homes. It's getting far too serious, and I feel like security itself. People need to adopt the mindset that we're all a part of that. Everyone needs to be more security conscious, okay? Because you don't know when you could be the victim. All right.
Wow. And this is for the ladies and the guys. Obviously, for those persons, if you're just joining us, please grab your papers and your pens. Clayton will be giving us some practical tips also. All right. What do you suggest for our ladies who may be shopping at the mall at Marathon or any other properties? What kind of tips would you suggest?
I feel like, okay, the very first thing that everybody must do is be more aware. All right, we have this habit of walking with our heads down, looking at our phones, WhatsApp messaging, checking Facebook. So we're not mindful of our surroundings. You can avoid a lot of situations just by paying attention. All right, you can, if you're paying attention, you can sort of sense when danger is present. But if you're distracted, it's impossible. All right, so you have to keep your eyes open to see if there's a shady character who's going to be nearby. You got to watch it for these things. You have to pay attention to these things. As simple as getting to your vehicle. You don't wait until you get to your car and dig in your purse or dig in your pocket for your key. Okay, you need to have that in your hand before you get there so you can just push it straight in and do what you have to. Look inside your vehicle before you enter. All right, because you don't know who's going to be hiding in there. Look around. Check out your surroundings whenever you're doing whatever you're doing, because you may end up spotting somebody 2 or 3 times. You and nobody should be together that amount of times unless you're traveling together. Okay, so then you have an idea that, okay, maybe this person might be doing something. Okay, then get yourself close to a security officer or a police officer, because they have them in the mall of Marathon as well. So, get yourself close to one of those people, even if you just bend a simple conversation and see how that person reacts, because you become a target because you are unaware. people don't want to try to take advantage of somebody who's going to put up too much of a struggle. The goal is to get in quickly and get away.
That's excellent. And from a lady's perspective, Minister Kenria, what are some of the things that you do daily to make sure that you and your family are safe?
Well, I want to say hi to you, Eliot, and thank you for inviting me on the show, Mr. Phillips. Hi. And I want to say hello to my Facebook viewers today. And some of the things I do for safety, the first thing is consulting God in prayer and praying to God to direct and order my steps during the day. Other than that, I'm vigilant in my surroundings. Sometimes I go one way and come in another way, just to check my surroundings because, with security people, sometimes have a tendency of following you and actually calculating your movements. So one of the things, I'm always vigilant and I'm always prayerful.
Wow. Now, you obviously go to prayer meetings and other functions. Do you find it uncomfortable sometimes if you have to leave your area by yourself? Or would you advise that a partner watch you to the door? I know one of the things I used to do back home was when I get home, when I drive into the driveway, I had a bit of a signal. I won't tell you guys what my signal is, by the way. But I had a bit of a signal so that when I arrive, the persons that are inside the property, they would be aware that I have arrived, and they could probably just look out because I did have an unfortunate circumstance, but I don't want to go into that bad detail. But yeah, I had a bad experience with one of my neighbors who was shot next door while arriving to his property. So just as a bit of a warning, and to piggyback on what Kenria as well as Clayton is saying, the most dangerous portions of your journey are actually on your arrival and at your departure. And I think, Clayton, you would be able to speak a little bit more from a professional. How long have you been in security now?
I've been in security now more than 20 years.
Wow, so you have a wealth of experience that we could tap into. Give us some of those experiences that you had and persons that you may have probably offered services for.
I've dealt with everything from, I guess, what you call the lowest level to the highest level. I've had the opportunity to manage a lot of nightclubs, strip clubs. I've actually worked for ministers of the cloth, all right, in protection here in the Bahamas. A number of artists that have come through, like Rick Ross and Jadakiss, these type of people. The corporate individuals, I cannot speak to them, period, because they're not interested in that type of stuff. They try their best to stay behind the scene. Okay, so there's absolutely no interest to be for them to know, for anyone to know. But okay, this particular person required some security. That is actually what tends to keep them safe, because the less people know about you, the safer you are. That's what a lot of people don't realize. The more popular you become, the greater target you become. All right, so the flashier the car, the more extravagant the attire, the watch, these are the things that attract attention to you. All right, so that is what causes people to have a tendency to follow you. But just piggybacking on what she was saying, it is wise to be vigilant when you are on the road. Okay, taking different routes is extremely important. You don't always want to go the exact same way, because that is how people have a tendency to get you, because they know, hey, she's at home no later than 8:15 every night. So they're there waiting.
Wow.
If you have a home, you want to try to make certain that you have some motion sensors, some motion lights around there. So if somebody comes and steps on the side, the light turns on, because all of those dark areas, they work against you.
Okay, for our persons that may be joining the show and they hear you speak about motion sensors, and obviously we're not downing anybody or speaking down, but where can they get a device like that, and who installs those type of equipment and trains how that is used?
Right, well, there are a number of security stores over here, like Security Plus and whatnot. Mm-hmm. As for the installation of that, my company also offers that service. I have I would say a few contacts, okay, who we work together, because in all honesty, as a smaller fry, not somebody who has been a superintendent or DSP on the police force to have all kinds of connections to get contracts and whatever, as somebody has to struggle to work up to that, it's always best to work along with other people, all right, to make certain that you get some things done. So there's a guy who I'd recommend, Hubert Saunders. He's very good, at the electronics or whatever, to get some things going in that regard. But as it relates to security, there isn't that much. that is offered that I don't do.
Okay.
Either myself or people that work with and for me, because you have to broaden your horizons in order to make that money. Right? It's impossible to eat if you're only good at one thing. All right, you're going to have to be able to give the clients just about everything that they're looking for.
Certainly. Thank you for that. Minister Kenria, obviously, again, we said persons would be coming in and out of the worship experience. What is your advice to a possible person leaving one of your Bible studies, per se, and they feel like they're being tailed? What advice would you offer to one of your ladies or gentlemen departing from your worship experience?
At first, I would say, leading from your worship experience, sometimes we might feel like, church is being came out late and we want to take some shortcuts to get home. Not to take the shortcut, to take the highway and take the long way sometimes, where they're lightning. Because sometimes when we take the shortcut, no lightning, the road is crowded with some guys probably across the road, and we trying to tunnel through that. Our minds are already clouded and we think somebody's following us. So one of the best things to do is stay on the highway. I know somebody in the security field would say most of the time, travel along the distance to find yourself to come to a police station or an open area, where people are, So I think wisdom is the principal thing, and not taking matters into your own hand in terms of traveling from Premier or from the presence of the Lord, because he said something earlier a minute ago talking about dark places. Mm-hmm. And when you're traveling at night, that's a dark place.
Yes.
And you cannot just take your own mindset and say, you know what, I'm just going to get home. No, in the dark places, this is where crime arises. This is such a crucial time and a scare time for the believers, because the reality of it is, when you look at one's life, it's in the dark places in life where we falter.
Wow.
So the reality of it is taking the long way, taking the place where lights are, take the highway, and get home safe. Call somebody when you're almost home and say, open up the gate, open up the door, I'm almost there. And said something about lightning also. And I didn't know about the dusk to dawn lights, but it wasn't until my back porch light on one end blew out and the next one on the other end blew out. I said, why is it so dark? And somebody said, you know what, get the dusk to dawn light. So when now it gets dark, get dusk to dawn light. Well, come on. So it's just taking those precautions and taking the necessary steps and to protect yourself.
That's wonderful. Thank you. I'll just piggyback on that with just 2 points that I know that I was guilty of. I always hold my hand up. I build my own mess. I have my headphones on because I'm constantly listening to audios or some sort of spiritual thing or some sort of ministry, Dr. Miles Monroe or Tony Robbins or something. But I realized that while I'm immersed in that experience, like you said, Mr. Phillips, I'm not vigilant as to what's going on in my surroundings. So if I can offer any advice, you may have to step away from your headphones. Everyone's on their headphones at some point, and it's very popular now. The second thing, again, I'm guilty of is my mobile phone. And I think this one is going to cause a lot of emails, because to ask someone in this day and age to separate or pry them away from their mobile phone or mobile device is almost asking them to give up their heartbeat. People are attached to their phones. A person could be late, go into work, and they would turn around to get their mobile phone. And then for some of us that are actually in network marketing or professionals in other capacities, our phones are actually a way of communicating for our paycheck to feed our children. So yes, it is very important to have these devices. But piggybacking on what Kenria, as well as what Clayton is saying, we do have to be vigilant of our surroundings. Professionalism, you look very, very nice, Kenria, and you are professional. What are let's give us about 3 to 5 characteristics of professional person.
Thank you for that compliment. And 3 or 4 of a professional person is to make sure your character needs to be intact. Because, you can have a lot of things in this life, but your character is what's going to sustain you, and appearance, it plays a lot. Because if you're going to introduce somebody to your brand or to your business, they're going to look at you and see if you're selling yourself, so appearance is a big thing. Attitude is another thing. It's so important because if I can't relate to you, and if you don't, and if I'm looking at you and I'm saying, this person's so harsh, they come on to me so wrong. I really don't want to buy into what you're selling. But you could come to me with the right attitude, and you know what? You could actually sell me your stuff, even if I don't even want it. Yeah. Just like the restaurant side of the road, they selling their penis and they saying, Empress, how you doing, Empress? You know, and they making you feel good about yourself. You say, you know what? I'll buy the penis for $1. I'm so into that, you know. And you know that's a business mindset. Another thing is to have the mindset that you want to please your clients, you want to please your customer. It's so important that whatever they feel, whatever emotion they come with, your objective that when they leave your establishment, when they leave your business, that they're going to leave at a better place. They're going to leave secure. They're going to leave feeling better about themselves. So I think everything works hand in hand. Like for me with my business, one of my slogans is where you'll always leave satisfied. And
say that again. What is it?
Where you'll always leave satisfied.
I like that.
You know, so the reality of it is, when I look at the profession I'm in the cosmetology field, and automatically you would say this will make somebody feel good about themselves. But that's just one level about doing their hair or doing their nails. That's just one aspect. Mm-hmm. But the spiritual side of it is so more important, because a lot of times people come to your establishment and they're weary. They are burdened. You know, sometimes people come and spend their money that they have to pay their bills with. They have to pay BEC. They have to pay their rent. But what happened is they're such a depressed place that now they want to do something to make themselves feel good about themselves. So the reality of it is when they leave their establishment, you want to let them know that, listen, you didn't spend your money in vain, because not only physically that you were taken care of, but spiritually you were taken care of, because you're leaving now at a better disposition in life now to now go ahead and deal with the future and deal with what you have at hand. You know, so for me, in the business field, I deal with so many things with people walking into your establishment. And one of the things I remember at one point in my business, the Lord is to tell me, fast before your clients come in and pray. And it's like, okay, Lord, what's the purpose of it? And he said, because the reality of it is the majority of your clients are not just coming to get their nails done. They're not just coming to get their hair done. They are at a place in life and they need to be encouraged. You know, so I used to seek the Lord to say, Lord, that by the time they leave my establishment, that they are at a better place in life. That if they came here feeling defeated, that when they leave, they don't feel defeated. So as a businessman, I think your quality is, you know, let go of self. It ain't about you. Mm-hmm. You know, and give them what they need.
Wonderful. Thank you. It's not about you. I love it. You have to express or convey a professionalism to all of your clients, Clayton. How do you accomplish that?
All right. I'll speak on a few of the points that I feel makes a good professional. One, punctuality. Everyone's time is important. Okay, so your word should be a bond in reference to that. Time is a big thing. Okay, if you show up when you're supposed to, that person feels like you're taking this job seriously. Okay, because you're respecting their time, even if they're late. All right, they shouldn't have to wait on you. You understand me? Because you're waiting on. I mean, you're working for them. All right. Also, the application of common sense. All right, a lot of people don't know how to apply common sense. And in order to be a professional, you have to be able to apply common sense. I say that to say everything is not written in stone. Sometimes it's not just a black and white situation. So even though there may be a code set to this particular thing, this situation, that mandate doesn't apply. All right. So in order to make certain that you please your customer, you're going to have to change the rules a bit, bend it a bit. Okay, make some adjustments to make certain that, you know, that person is taken care of. The dress code. Dress code is important, okay? Because people are going to rate you, people are going to judge you based on how you present yourself. Mm-hmm. So if you're not coming to this event, this function, this job, dressed appropriately, you've already turned that person off. Mm-hmm. All right, so you're going to have to make certain that you're dressing a certain way. The customer is king. You have to remember that you are a servant in this business. This is servitude. Customer service, that's what customer service is. Customer service is servitude. Okay? So if you're somebody who has too much of an ego to please your customer, you're never going to make it. All right? They're supposed to feel like they are in charge of the situation. It doesn't matter your personal opinions. that individual can be pissing you off. This is the job, okay? You're going to need to ensure that that individual walks away feeling like, okay, I got the best of that situation. All right, but it's your salary. This is how you make your money. Okay, whether you're selling something inside a store, whether you're doing somebody's nails, as she said, or whether you're guarding the president of the United States. Okay, if that person does not like you, they will not do business with you. Okay, so you must make certain that they are straight. And lastly, I speak on love of what you do.
Sure.
If you do not love what you do, there's no way that you can be great at it. It's just not possible. Okay, once you love it, you will go out of your way to make sure that the things are being done the way that they need to be done. So you have to love what you do, and the client generally feels that. Okay, that resonates with them because of the fact that you are. I mean, your whole makeup, everything about you says, "This is me."
Yeah.
And I feel like once you encompass all these things in your daily life, then you shouldn't have a problem with being a great professional.
I think that's excellent, what you said there. Now, Minister Kenria, things don't always go to plan, and we're talking about customer excellence today. Sometimes the gap between things going wrong and having to solve that problem isn't sufficient to even get a little prayer in. What other tactics do you have for turning around service recovery? And give us an example of an experience in your salon where things didn't necessarily go to plan.
Okay, Mr. Phillips talked about timing and, being punctual, in terms of your clients. I remember a time in my business that one of my clients, she was running a little late. I didn't want to turn her away because she was traveling. But what she was going to do was make me off schedule for the next client. So I was trying to get in contact with the next client, but I didn't. So by the time she reached, she was frustrated. She's like, I have to go, it's unacceptable. My appointment's for this time, and what are you going to do? Take her to the chair? So right then, I had to regroup, what I'm going to do. So I said, give me a minute, please, and in that minute, I tried to hurry to finish of the client that I was doing. So I realized that, I have to deal with her after I'm finished this client, because this person got to clean the catch. Mm-hmm. So after the fact, she came in the chair and I started to do her. She was still angry, frustrated, but she wasn't saying nothing. But all the emotions was just flaring. So, I started talking to her. I said, what, how was your day? What went on, in your day? Because I realized that, she was actually dealing with something that was beyond her that day. And she started telling me, she had a rough day and her relationship and her marriage was going wrong. So right now, I really want to take it on, So I started talking to her and whatever have you, and it shifted in terms of me talking to her. On another case, one of my clients, I said, what? I'm going to take the loss for this, for this job. Yeah, I'm going to take the loss, because it's my fault that, things didn't flow as it's supposed to. So I'll take the loss. That's that one over, but I come to realize that, every day is not going to go as planned, but we have to think quick, you understand? And at the end of the day, the customer must leave, please. The customer must leave at a point that they're at a point of return. Not to return is a serious thing, and losing sometimes, I think as business owners, you would look at that money we'll lose right then. But that could be a faithful client. Mm-hmm. I could tell you one thing. I had a client now about 15 years now.
Wow.
About 15 years. The first time she came to me, I didn't want to do her. I was like, this lady, oh my gosh. I was like, I said, God, I got the grace to deal with her. That's what I said, and everybody in the salon at that time, before I launched out on my own, was like, she's one of the hardest clients to deal with. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, she came in my chair. And when the Lord pushed me into my own business, she left with me. And that's one of my faithful customers. And I can tell you, she's not seasonal. She comes all the time. So sometimes we look at some things that happen in our business and feel like it's not for the betterment of us, but sometimes it is. And sometimes we have to work our way through those things and see the goodness in it.
Wow. Thank you for that. Our show is all about success. Tonight, we've covered the importance of security. We looked at practical safety tips, the power of prayer, and obviously we just mentioned the customer service excellence aspect of it. What is success to you, Mr. Phillips?
Success to me,
very briefly.
Yeah, success to me is being able to do what it is that you love all the time. That's success to me. It's not necessarily about the amount of money that you've accumulated, because there are many people who are stinking rich, and miserable because their life is not fulfilling. All right. So success to me is being able to do what you love, because you have people who are doing jobs, but all right, they may be an analyst, okay, but they wanted to be a musician. That's where their heart is. If they're not playing music, they're not happy, So that's what I'm saying. Once you reach a point where you're able to do what it is that you love, I feel that you're successful.
Thank you. What advice do you have for our future, our next generation, Minister Kenria, quickly?
Well, my advice to the next generation is to tap into your purpose, to tap into everyone. God has given gifts and the ability to do some things. And once you tap into that, you'll come into the person and you'll find your identity and find the person God has called you to be. You cannot be somebody else, but your grace can be you. Nobody can be you. So be the best you that you can be. Tap into the giftings and the ability that God has given you, and you will be unstoppable. Nobody and nothing will be impossible.
Wonderful. Right before we run out of time, Mr. Phillips, how can persons get in contact with your services?
Okay, well, if you want to reach me, you can contact me at professionalprotection@hotmail.com, or you can contact me at 448-0787 or 601-4333.
Wonderful. And Minister Kenria, how can persons get in contact with your services?
You can contact me at 466-6209, or you can hit me up on Facebook at Kenria Kelly.
Wonderful. And you're Kelly, so you're in the right place. My name is Eliot Kelly. I've been your host. We've been blessed with Minister Kenria Kelly as well as Mr. Clayton Phillips. Thank you, all of you, for coming, listening and viewing audience. The show is sponsored by Juice Plus. I'm about to take my capsules now for the evening before I go hit the gym. Thank you, everyone, for the show. We're going to end with a quote. To be successful, you have to be able to relate to people. They have to be satisfied with your personality to be able to do business with you, and to build a relationship with mutual trust. That's by George Russ, and we appreciate his comments. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. You can find the comments you can make a comment in the bottom of our link. It's info@bahamasmindandbodyproject.com. Don't forget to make a comment in the comment field. Thank you.